This is 1864 of the Arukh HaShulchan Yomi. As you can tell, recording it's not from my usual spot, but babysitting for my granddaughter, my son's house. If you would like to sponsor an upcoming share or more of the Arukh HaShulchan Yomi, be greatly appreciated. Please contact me directly. Today we're doing Siman Reish Nun Gimel Sif Test through your Ches, I believe. Yes. Okay, Reish Nun Gimel Test. Essential Rambam. You have a raw dish which has not been cooked at all. Or shabisha called circle, or it was completely cooked, but with stomach rallo, it's going to get worse if you leave it on the fire. Mutar shoso gavesh, you want to leave it on the fire. Ben bekira bekupach ben betano, in any of those forms of ovens. B'chen apilu kol tavsha shabisha v'lo bisha called circle. Any cooked dish which was cooked but not completely cooked or not cooked as much as necessary, or shmisha called circle, or it was completely cooked and stomach buffalo, and it's even getting better as it stays fire. If you tossed into it a raw piece of meat right before right before twilight, now so called the whole thing becomes like a raw dish. You can leave it on the fire, even if you did not remove the coals or cover them. Because you're ready, was distracted, he's not going to come. It's not going to be no way. It's going to be ready at that night, so therefore he's not going to pay attention. He's going to break the coals. Kloma, meaning the other machar is shows habelis pashel. So it's tomorrow. It's got a lot of time to cook. Why would he break the coals? For dafka basar chay should tzich habelis manis pashel. Specifically raw meat, which takes a long time to cook. But raw vegetable, etc., which gets cooked quicker, asur. It's forbidden. Yud. The things that we allowed in leaving stuff on the fire, such as the cubicle oven or the double oven, which are fueled with straw or with twigs, or or a dish which is fully cooked but is getting worse as it remains on the fire, or a raw dish, or put a raw piece of meat into it, which you made even in the period oven, that's only, we're talking about leaving it there on the oven right before Shkia. But to put it back, so you took it off out of the oven on Shabbos. You want to put it back in any of these ovens. Also, it's forbidden. Because when you put it back on Shabbos, it looks like you are cooking to begin with, starting on Shabbos. And those are saying not allowed to put it back even before nightfall if it wasn't able to be cooked during the day. But that's what Rambam came, but doesn't seem away from the Rambam, as we shall see in the forthcoming Siyif. The Mishnah Berurah says if it's completely raw, you are allowed to put it back right before nightfall, even if the oven is a Bidankar for Kotim, which perhaps is the Rambam we're about to see. Yura, anything which you can leave on the fire. When you take it on Shabbos, can't put it back. Can't put it back no matter what. I mean, the brackets interspersed with the actual text of the Rambam. Even if it's getting worse as it stays on the fire, or it's a raw dish. Unless the kira is it's a double oven, has the ashes swept out, the bezel Mexican matcha, then it's not really cooking, or bekir bekupach, or by in a double oven or the cubicle single oven, which are fueled by straw and twigs. And also you can only put it back if you never put down the pot on the ground. Once you put the pot on the ground, once you took the fire, put it on the ground, You can't put it back. This way, no matter what the status of the oven is, it looks like you're now cooking. But if you got to be killed grufo mechusan, therefore even on top of a double oven, which has had the ashes removed or covered. The tanur, and also you can't put the pot back in a tanur, the pyramid oven, below the kupak shehusak b'gevas nor to a cubicle oven which was fueled by olive dregs or wood. And he brings the brackets here again. All the brackets are interspersed with the Rambam. The Tanur Afil B'Kash Gevava in the pyramid oven, you can't put it back. It was fueled with straw and with twigs. So even if you removed the coals, and even if it's a dish which is going to get worse the more you're on fire, and even the tam shilchai, even if it's a raw dish, they shall have lon chambi oseh because they're very hot. The heat is very great. The choshe magzin alav, and anytime you can't put something back on that oven, and so Shabbos can't put something adjacent to that oven on Shabbos, and quote from Rambam. Those who argue about putting something next to a kupach, the cubicle oven, and so they're matir, the whole zehu shitas Rambam, maybe shitas Rif. This is all the Rambam who follows the Rif is ready. With Zeiskim Ramban, that's that the Ramban agreed as well. Brackets it says that the Abayis Shabbat Kiri Mishnah saying Ma'ir B'Shir Chazara. This whole based on a fundamental question. The Mishnah in the beginning of Parakira and Shabbos is talking about Shehiyah or Chazara. That it's really going on Shehiyah, and Chazara is much more chomer. Ayin Shah. You base Abushitas Rashi, the Taisvis, Varosh, Barashba, B'Chain Svi Rav Haim, Rabbeinu Chananel, the Choyisim She's Baruhema Rak B'Chazar V'Lo B'Ashor. Any prohibition like Mitztamek V'Yofelo or well, that's the main case, right? Mitztamek V'Yofelo or partially cooked, also partially cooked. That it can still be cooked that night. The only also by chazara, not by shehiyah. Only of us put it back, not to leave it on. The only time it's usher in to leave it is if it started cooking and it's not yet a third cook. Rashi says is this third. Mr. Bur writes Shasat Chaki would make a third, but not the Chatchila because, as Arukh HaShulchan goes on to say, Chati Bishul Rambam, where Rambam is half cooked. Avakoshi Gil Machol Zeh, but anytime it's reached Machol Ben Josiah, Afim Mistam Yofelo, even gets better as it goes overnight, mutter, so you're allowed to leave it. Chama Kechananya, we hold a Chananya Kosher Machol Ben Josiah, mutter Lishoso Gabe Kira, anything which is that much cooked, the third or half, you can leave it on the oven, even if it's not swept and covered. Shita Rambam ain't a little bit sweet. According to Rambam, no, that's only by roast, not by cooking. It's why simulation udalad. The low tab should be there, not by a cooked dish in a pot. Of course, according to these Ashkenazic, although the Rashba is not Ashkenazi, it's related to but it gets Rambam and Rif, so we can. This comes out here basically Machlokas Ashkenazim and Sfardim. According to Ashkenazi, there are significant kulos, which those Sfardim do not have. Bilacha writes that Chatchila, it's best to make sure that when something left on the oven is mefusho cold turkey, it's completely cooked before nightfall, and then you should remove it from the fire. Okay, I guess. But it happened that it got late, such as when guests came before Shkia, and you had to cook right before Shkia, and you had to cook for something for them right before Shkia. Then you can put it on the tripod, on the whatever it's called, on the stove, to cook. Even if it's not going to get cooked, even if it's only going to get cooked halfway until Shkia. and he should leave it there on this tripod on the stand until it completes the cooking. So even he's making b'shas hadchak. Well, sure, he's making chatchila, perhaps we'll do differently. You give him a fishitazu according to Rashi and Tosfos. The kol sheiskil ma'is basha v'lo is basha dai kamacham and just anything which began to be cooked but not yet a third or half cooked. She at least in ma'acha mixas bishul. And Josiah was a bandit. He used to eat things partially raw because he was on the run. Also, Lishosa Gabi Ktir Shein Grufa Ktuma. That you're not allowed to leave on a oven which is not swept or covered. Tanur Apil Grufa Katana. Tagrufa Ktuma. And that was on the double oven. And on the pyramid oven, Apil Grufa Ktuma, even if it is swept or covered. Apil is good oven, even if you used twigs or straw. But on the other end, the double oven, which use straw or twigs, near the mutter. You see, the mutter leave that. The kupach by the cubicle single oven depends. The kash gvava having kibakira. If they use twigs and straw, it's like the kira, and it's permitted. They have a say we used olive dregs or sesame dregs and wood. Having it's like a tanur. Like the pyramid oven, and it is forbidden. The brackets. The onion is like the shita zukum shigil machal ben yusai have a mi kil harambam. So now, if it has to go into machal ben yusai, it's like the Rambam. So it's not that you can't leave it at all, but you can leave it as long as you go for custom, etc., in the right places. Why would you say differently? And I only argues with its Ray Machman Jusai that there's certain leniencies. Perhaps the Shita Zukir B'Tano Shavim Bashar. Spouse, according to this opinion, the double oven and the pyramid oven are equal in terms of what you can leave on top. You come never see that Kash Gvava is also by Tano. The Tano Gami Small Chasur. And the pyramidal oven, I guess it's the word. The pyramidal oven, you can't leave it, you can't even put next to it, and a kira you can always put next to, and a kupach there's a machlekes, and it's going to end up depending, perhaps whether you use kash v'gava or gefetz beitzim. The Bialacha says on according to the poskim hold that even grufo ketuma does not work by where it's less than machal b'jusoy, according to the Rambam. Yeah, that makes sense. Okay, that there was such a shita like that. But according to, it seems to the Rambam that a group of kuma is going to work. Again, it depends on the oven. Anyway, you got koshki machal b'jusoy, anytime reach machal b'jusoy, a third or a half, a few mitzkamek v'rafel, yafalo, even if leaving it on is going to make it better. Mutzah shosa gabi kira, can leave it on the double oven, gabi tanor, and the pyramidal oven, the kupach, and the cubicle oven. Even if it is, can't quite Rashi places in Rashi and Rashba, even if you use olive dregs and wood, the Kemish is Bashma when Joy wants because once to cook the Machal ben Joy, is Bashma Elam is going to get cooked on its own. We're not concerned you're going to break the coals. We should see just to make it a little bit more shriveled, it should taste better. For that, you're not going to come to do that. So according to this, Shehiyah is the same. But the difference is by Chazar. The Kira Shutzka B'Kash Gavava, the double oven, if you use straw and twigs, you can put stuff back on top of it, even if it's not, in other words, took it off on Shabbos, put it back, even if it's not swept or covered. The guest Vevis B'Eitzim, but if you use olive dregs and wood, sort of Grifo Katima, you need to have either sweeping or covered. The tanur, the pyramidal oven, I feel garif the katum also, even if it is swept or covered, it's also that kashu v'gvava, and even you just use twigs and straw. The kupach and the cubicle oven, the kashu v'gvava, if you use straw and twigs, kikira, it's like the double oven. But basically, you use olive refuse and wood, kitan, or it's like the pyramidal oven. The tanagam smicha asur, and in the oven, also putting next to it is asur. b'chazara, even to put something back there is also b'chol gavni. Kira mutter b'chol gavni, and in the kira it is permitted no matter what. B'kuba chesh plukta k'mosh time b'sib zayin. There is a machlekes what the status of kupach is. Reading himself a bit. Tesvav. Before me yesh the mikra smicha akshem mamid al gabe akira. Sometimes it's called smicha even you put it on top of the oven. You go shtei kira shnigu b'yacha. You have the double oven. They're built together. Ragdov and Masim and Zuzah is just a wall between the two of them. And the wall is made out of pottery. But Achasi Grupa Ktuma, one of them has been swept and the ashes or the ashes covered. Hashem a Grupa Ktuma, the second one is not swept or covered. Mamim ala Grufa, you can put stuff on the hat which is swept, Ktuma or covered. Abshus Kopagevas Eitzim, even though it was used with olive dregs and wood, and the second one as well. And now even it's getting more. The first one's getting more heat because the adjacent one, which is not Gorva Katum, which causes the heat to go through the pottery wall into the next oven, right? Nevertheless, it's this considered putting pot on top of one the oven, the slab which is Gorva Katum is like smicha to the fire, and that's misma mutter. It's not clear what the Rambam and Torah all about this. Mishabur says even on Shabbos I would put back, not just on Arab Shabbos being Hashmashos. Tezai Kresvatur Kiroshi Grufo Ktuma. You have a kira, the double oven, from which you remove the ash or cover the ash. Another ktera, the coals, excuse me. Another ktera male there, and you took off the pot from it Akil b'Shabbos. Even on Shabbos itself, Mutav Zir, you can put it back close match your Shabbos as long as it's boiling. The dafka gaba specifically on top, it's going to spasa, such as on the rim, or the covering, which is on its hollow, its cavity. Well, the biyado, and it has to be that it's still in your hand. You didn't put it down. But I have in your hand in mind to put it back. I will talk a little bit, but to put it back into the inside the cavity of the oven. Or that you put the pot down on the ground, or if you hold down biyado, even if it was still in your hand, but you didn't have mind to put it back. Now I put it back. Bialocha says if you had in mind to put it back, it's possible to make it even if you put it on the ground, or vice versa. If it's still in the hands, you can make it even if he didn't have in mind to put them back when he took it. In any event, as long as it's in his hand and he doesn't have in mind to put it back, even though he doesn't have in mind to put it back, it makes sense to say that you can make it shas at sorech, and also put it down on a bench. If you had in mind to put it back, that's also good. Just don't put it on the ground. Okay, back to Arukh HaShulchan. Unlike Arukh HaShulchan, who said Mishbu said the bench is okay. He says if you put it hung it on a stick, or gabe mita, or you put it on a bed, or you took it from one pot and put it into another pot, it's also I can't show you. This is a super chumrah relative to Rambam. He didn't say anything about the hollow versus the outside. And the Gemara there is explicit like the Torah, even though the Rambam doesn't bring it down. So, also. It says you're not allowed to put it in. And it's the conclusion of the Gemara is that this was said about Chazara. Tell guy, since a moment ago I came home, so it's much later actually. But continuing on, the Rambam didn't mention anything about this. But Talmud nearly borrower the Zelmer came, so the roads would hold that way. So it should say Mari b'Chazara. I hold our Mishnah say about Chazara, putting it back on each other. Around the Mari b'Hisha, but the Rambam holds our Mishnah say about Shehiyah. But so therefore this doesn't count. Obviously, that which distinguishes between Agabi Kira, Toch Kira, that's putting something back, but we learn the Mishnah story about Shehiyah. So he says, Chazara Mutares, Rak Bikir B'Kupach. According to Rambam, you're only allowed to put it back by the double oven or the cube oven. Shuska b'kash vava if it was fueled with straw and with twigs and guva ktuma, and it is also swept or covered. And came so you can distinguish obviously between inside or on top of it. Aber Tour person my bechazor, but Tour says by bechazor shapi posag lach meimo. He passes this statement. Gam say hichmi neged Rambam. This is with thus he also was making like relative to the Rambam. The Rambam is so rak meimi agabi karka. I'm only forbade putting it back when you put it on the ground. But gamlu tzarch she died to axir. And he required you have to have das to put it back. But Turich mir bezeh. The Tur is machmir. Gemara yesh bezeh shtei lashonos. The zel gan can be tam shabiyarnu. The reason why there are two statements is because, or two ways to look at it, is the Rambam shachazora asura legamre. So according to Rambam, you're not allowed to do any chazora. Only if it's one of the cube or a double oven, which was fueled with straw or with twigs. So it's so empty, bereft of heat. It's not relevant to be so machmir. Toch, gav, shein latur. It's only about ovens which are more substantial and more substantially heated. So therefore, there is room to be machmir only on top and not inside. This only it's defined as when the bottom of the pot stands on the bottom of the oven. But if it doesn't stand on the bottom of the oven, even though most of the pot is in the oven, and it's held up on top by the rim, which the width of the rim on top, on top of the its rim is on top of the circular top of the oven. That's considered to be on top, and it's permissible. Our ovens, and he gives away a secret here, which is going to say the din is like a kira. But gabon, so we don't put it on top. We always put it inside. So if you're doing chazor is permitted in our ovens, doesn't make a difference if you're putting it inside or on top. Good ches. That one says put it back even on Shabbos. It's got to be that the food is fully cooked and has not cooled down. But it's not fully cooked. Ocean it's stunning or became cold. It's obviously for him to back if it's going to get the Yatzvaletis bow. That's like literally like cooking. When Vushal cold circle of Lonitzanim, if it's fully cooked but did not cool down, Mutlach Zira can put it back even in another oven, not necessarily the same one. Even if the other oven is hotter than the first oven. Came into aim as a grower the bishul because there's no bishul, it's cooked and it's hot. If it wasn't cooked or it's cooled down, can't even put it back in that same oven, when it's the heat of Yatzel Espo. Now which you permitted even go to another oven. So we have a place where it was mashed to a place where it's mashed. So it's all one. When it wasn't in an oven, but rather it was insulated. The rotza amido agabi kira, and they want to put it inside the oven. Asur, that's forbidden. Koshkin lidem akira lakmina asur, and even to take it from the oven and put it in hatmana, which seems to be going down a level. The asur commotion is by sim reshon zayin ayin shom. You can't change the mode. Okay, it's a kiddush to me. Mode has to remain the same. Mishnah Berurah says that tzitani means tzitani legamre. I think that he means that it's room temperature, which is usually what's considered to be tzitani, and certainly by liquids that's considered to be the shear.